Hello guys, so now we shall be discussing regarding the facial layers of the neck. Okay, we shall be discussing regarding the facial layers of the neck. So what are the different kinds of facial layers you basically have? Basically within the neck region we have got two different types of fascia. What are those two different types of fascia? One is called as a superficial fascia and the other one is called as a deep fascia. One is called as a superficial fascia. Another one is called as the deep fascia. Okay, so we have got two important types of fascia. One is called as a superficial fascia and the other one over here is called as a deep fascia. Now within the superficial fascia, what are the different kinds of structures you have got? For example, within the superficial fascia you have got structures. For example, there is a structure called as platysma. Okay, second important thing, there is a muscle called as platysma. Second important thing, there are muscles like facial muscles. Like facial muscles. And third important thing, you have got cutaneous superficial vessels. You have got cutaneous superficial vessels. Cutaneous superficial vessels. So these are the three different types of structures that are located within the superficial fascia. Coming to the deep fascia, within the deep fascia we have got three important structures. What are those three important structures? One is called as the investing layer. One is called as the investing layer. Another one is called as a pretracheal layer. Another one is called as a pretracheal layer. And the third one is called as a prevertebral layer. Third one is called as a prevertebral layer. So there are three important layers that are located. One is called as your investing layer, next is called as a pretracheal layer, and third is called as a prevertebral layer. Okay. Now what are the important structures that are, first of all you have to look at this muscle over here. You see this entire muscle which you can see, this muscle is called as your platysma. Okay. Now after this, let us look at what are the different kinds of deep fascia we have got over here. So to discuss the deep fascia, first of all we have to draw few important things. Let us say this is the body of your vertebra. Okay, let us say that this is your body of the vertebra. Okay, now after that, this particular process which you have over here is called as a spinous process of the vertebra, and this is your foramen, spinal canal. And on both the sides you have got what? You have got the transverse processes like this. These are the transverse process of the vertebra. Now above the vertebra and on the sides you have got some muscles. For example, these are called as spinal colli muscles. Right, in the same way you have got some muscles that are located on the sides of your vertebral body like this. It is not important to know the names of these muscles, but there are some other muscles that are located on the side like this. Right, so these muscles are very important to know. This muscle over here which I have drawn right now is called as your trapezium muscle. Right, what is the name of this muscle? This is called as trapezius. Okay, this muscle over here is called as trapezius. Now above trapezius or below trapezius over here, you have got the next important muscle here. This muscle is called as sternocleidomastoid muscle. Okay, so what is the name of this muscle? This is sternocleidomastoid muscle. So this muscle over here is called as a sternocleidomastoid muscle. Okay, now after this sternocleidomastoid muscle, if you look exactly in the center, okay, in the center here you have got a structure called as esophagus. This particular structure over here in the center is called esophagus. Above the esophagus you got another important structure called as trachea. Right, now in front of the trachea you have got a gland called as thyroid gland. TG stands for your thyroid gland. So let us say that this is your thyroid gland here. This is your thyroid gland. Okay, now on both the sides of your thyroid gland you have got a muscle like this. So this muscle that is located on both the sides of your thyroid gland is called as your infrahyoid muscles. So what is this muscle over here? These are your infrahyoid muscles. Infrahyoid muscles. So you know that there are So this muscle over here is called as your infrahyoid group. So I hope you know we have got 4 different types of infrahyoid muscles over here, right? Now first of all, let us write down what is the investing layer. Let us draw the investing layer first and let us look at the remaining layers. So from where does this investing layer start? Investing layer starts all the way from the spinous as well as the transverse process of your vertebra. Okay. So as this investing layer is coming, it will invest what? It will invest your trapezius muscle. Invest in the sense it will cover. Okay. It will invest your trapezius muscle. Then it will invest another muscle here. This is called a sternocleidomastoid muscle. And on both the sides, the same thing is happening. It will invest your trapezius muscle like this. It will invest your sternocleidomastoid muscle. Okay. And after that, these two fascia, they join together in this way. Okay. So this layer is called as your investing layer. Now, one very important thing you need to know is that not only here, investing layer is also covering your mandible. For example, let us say this is a cut portion of your mandible. And let us write down, this is the lateral side of the mandible, this is the medial side of the mandible. Okay. Now, on the medial side of the mandible, you have got a muscle. Let us say there is a muscle that is located on the medial side like this. This muscle here is called as a masseter muscle. And on the lateral side also you have got on the medial side you have got a muscle called as medial pterygoid, and on the lateral side you have got a muscle called as masseter muscle. So this muscle over here is your masseter. This is your masseter muscle, and this one over here is your medial pterygoid muscle. This is your medial pterygoid muscle. Next, down to this particular mandible, here you have got a gland. This particular gland which you can see here is called as a submandibular gland. In the same way, you even have got a gland over here. This particular gland over here which you see is called as a parotid gland. So there are 2 different types of glands. So this is called as a submandibular gland, and this gland over here is called as your parotid gland. Okay. Now just look at how these vessels are supplying, how this investing layer is surrounding. So this is the investing layer that covers your medial pterygoid, that even covers in this way, right? So now you can see that at the level of the mandible, the investing layer is splitting into 2 layers. One layer is covering the medial pterygoid and the other layer is covering the masseter. Not only masseter, it is also covering your submandibular gland as well as your parotid gland. Okay. So this is all about you need to know regarding the investing layer. Now coming to the next important layer, that is called as a pretracheal layer. Why do you call it as pretracheal? Because this layer is in front of the trachea. Okay. So this is your pretracheal layer. First of all, this pretracheal layer will cover a muscle like this. This muscle is called as a infrahyoid group. And this pretracheal layer covers even your thyroid gland and this muscle on the other side, and it comes down all the way and covers your esophagus in this way and goes and joins here. So this particular layer which I have drawn here, this layer is called as your pretracheal layer. Now if you see the posterior part, right, the distal part of this pretracheal layer becomes very thick. Now this thick portion of this pretracheal layer is called as buccopharyngeal fascia. So this particular fascia here is called as your buccopharyngeal fascia. This is called as buccopharyngeal fascia. Okay. Next important thing you need to know is that regarding this pretracheal fascia, in another view I am going to draw this. For example, let us say that this is your hyoid bone like this. Okay, let us say this particular part over here is your hyoid bone. Okay, so this part over here is called as your hyoid bone all the way here. Now, okay, let me draw it again. So this is your hyoid bone. All of you know that beneath your hyoid bone you have got a cartilage which is shield shape. This is called as your thyroid cartilage, right? Now thyroid cartilage is having an oblique line here. This is called as the oblique line of your thyroid cartilage. Oblique line of your thyroid cartilage. So this one is your oblique line of your thyroid cartilage. Oblique line of thyroid cartilage, and this bone over here is called as your hyoid bone. Okay. Now down here you have got a gland. This gland over here is your thyroid gland. You know this, right? So this gland over here is called as your thyroid gland. So this is your thyroid gland. Okay. Now important thing to know is that from this oblique line of the thyroid cartilage, you see a fascia that is coming down. This fascia is called as a pretracheal fascia. Okay, it is coming down all the way and it is covering what? It is covering your thyroid gland. So this is your pretracheal fascia. Now that is the reason why, see, this pretracheal fascia is very closely attached to your thyroid gland, very firmly attached to your thyroid gland. That is the reason why whenever you are swallowing, your thyroid gland is also elevated. Why? It is because of this pretracheal fascia. And second important thing is that whenever you got any tumor, let us say you got some kind of tumor within this thyroid gland, and this tumor will go down to the mediastinum, but it will not go up. The reason is that this any tumor, whatever it might be, this entire thyroid gland and the structures that are connected to the thyroid gland, they are limited till this oblique line of the thyroid cartilage only. That is the reason why any tumor or any infection, it cannot ascend up. Okay, all it can do is that it can go down into the mediastinum. Okay, so this fascia over here, what is this called as? This is called as your pretracheal fascia. This is called as your pretracheal fascia, right? So this is all you need to know. And next, the next important fascia, that is your prevertebral fascia. Where is this prevertebral fascia? So to understand this prevertebral fascia, you should know one very important thing, that this prevertebral fascia is having two important layers. One is called as a alar layer, another one is called as a prevertebral layer. See, this particular layer which is just behind the buccopharyngeal fascia is called as your alar layer. Alar layer, and behind this alar layer, whatever structure I am drawing right now, see here behind this is called as a prevertebral layer. So this particular layer over here is called as your prevertebral layer. Prevertebral layer. So how many layers we have got? We have got two important layers. One is called as the alar layer, which is located behind the buccopharyngeal fascia, and next layer is called as a prevertebral layer because that is located in front of the vertebra. So this is all you need to know regarding the facial layers of neck, guys. So thank you so much for watching my video. Goodbye.